Among the near endless parade of negative news around Marathon, we got an update from an individual that worked on Concord of all games that's trying to defend the state of Bungie's new extraction shooter. And while there are a lot of people that have given their thoughts on the subject, I wanted to give mine as from the perspective of a game developer and how I'm viewing this kind of discourse going around here, and why a lot of people that work in my industry get a lot of this foundationally wrong. So to start out with, my name's Ojiro. I've been making games for about as long as this Concord dev here that we're going to talk about. And let's start with this statement, and then let's move a little on from there. Hey all, former Firewalk Studios dev here. I have been a long-time lurker for many years and rarely post to any Reddit/social in regards to what's going on in my life as a developer/artist. After reading the comments about Marathon being Concord 2.0 on Reddit, YouTube, and Twitch, I wanted to share a little insight into what a 40-year-old man is describing after dedicating a large portion of his life to making video games. For the past 17 years, I've been part of some great projects and worked with some of the most talented people who made me the dev I am today. Many players know about Concord. Everyone knows about Concord. It is a once-in-a-lifetime failure. And what happened with that project? Concord failed to inspire players, and the message was heard loud and clear. It was gut-wrenching to see our project fail and be the laughingstock of many online. I have learned that failure is what drives me to succeed. No one feels as bad as the people who put their time on the line, hoping it will entertain the masses of gamers across the globe. I'm not asking for pity or even sympathy because, after all, this is the name of the game. You win or lose. The margin for success is very thin. I took a chance and lost. Some of you probably smell blood in the water and probably want to roast me for no longer lurking and exposing myself. I hope you don't, and see that people created these projects and worked very hard to be the next big thing. Seeing the faces of the developers on the Bungie stream gave me hope and excitement for what is to come for Marathon. I commend them for taking a chance, trying something foreign to them that isn't proven nor guaranteed to succeed. It takes a lot of courage. So, of all the things that people have complained about for Marathon, none of this is really addressed in that stream in this post. This individual is sharing their feelings on the matter. And something that is very important for game developers to understand is that your feelings and the realities of business are two dramatically different things. You can feel like something is going to be a big success, but the moment it releases, it can be an absolute commercial failure. It can mean that years of your life, as in the case of this Concord developer, are effectively not wasted because you still did things, but they did not pan out in a way that is going to enable you to keep your career trajectory at that particular company, because a lot of these companies shut down. In the case of Marathon, what a lot of people are upset about is we saw two visions for Marathon out of Bungie. We saw the initial vision where they showed this world that was very like Death Stranding-esque with ugly characters in it, but it still looked like it had some promise. And then we had a second vision for the game where it looked like an uninspired extraction shooter with ugly characters. And we were told that the things that were going to be the hooks that keep us into the game were going to come after launch, a launch that you have to pay for, a premium price, which whatever that's going to be. So you're going to have to pay money for a game that comes out on launch that they know and that they are announcing to everyone is not going to have a staying power because it is not going to have the hooks that are going to keep you in. And by the time they add those hooks, which are the ranked modes and this fourth map that's supposed to be amazing, that's supposed to be the thing that keeps people around. That is, for games, that's just not how it works. You have to have those hooks in place in the beginning because you're going to have people that come into the game in the beginning that will not come back if they do not enjoy the experience. So if the thing that they're supposed to enjoy is late to the game, you have lost a tremendous cohort of users that could be engaging with your game and your in-app purchase system in that game. Now, another thing that a lot of people in this industry do not understand is when people come out and they give this feedback where they're saying, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, a lot of people react with their feelings and they're saying, oh, well, you should give it a chance, or you don't understand how hard I worked on this, and none of that matters. Some people Like, most people want these games to succeed. No one wanted $400 million to go to a game that was a total flop like Concord. I think everyone would have agreed if you had the options between a $400 million flop and a $400 million amazing game that had staying power that you could be playing for the next 10 years, everyone would choose the latter. Everyone. You would have some people on YouTube that would say, I don't know, I'd like it if it failed because it's great content for me. But that's them playing a character for a YouTube video. They want good games. We all want good games. Gamers want good games to play, and developers want good games so that they can stay in business as a game developer. This individual is talking about something that a lot of game developers talk about, where they're just saying, like, well, I feel like this is unfair, or I feel like that's unfair. Fairness is not part of any of this. This is all a business. At the end of the day, you need to understand that when these gamers are complaining and saying, hey, I don't like all of these things about the game, I don't think this is going to be successful, we are giving that feedback so that places like Bungie can hear it and say, okay, how can we pivot so that we can catch the most amount of people to be interested in this game? My hope is, with all this feedback and everyone saying, look, the characters look bad, the world looks uninteresting, I don't see why we would want to come back and play this game, that they are able to talk to Sony and have the folks at Sony understand that they are funding a project that is currently on track to fail. I don't have a lot of faith in this game, at least on launch. And if you're going to say, oh, don't worry, we're going to make it a good game after the fact, we've all heard from various games over the years where they say, oh, we'll add this mode later, we'll add that mode later, but they don't hit the metrics they need to continue to stay in development. So the game is just axed at that point. So the features that might have kept large amounts of users playing the game, they're gone. They're never developed because of that. So you have these people that really want this game to succeed. They want all of the people at Bungie to stay, keep their job and actually get a good game out the door. So we give this feedback. We all say, I don't like this, I don't like that, that's all pretty bad. And if their response is, well, don't worry, you'll like it after we add these features after launch, that's not a good answer. That is a recipe for failure. I think collectively everyone wants all this feedback to go back to the team and for them to say, look, we need to refocus how we're doing this, and have Sony say, yeah, we do not want another failed live service game. So let's push back the release date. Let's fix the core issues of the game. Hell, if they just added like some, single player mode to go off of this, fix a lot of the characters and kind of resolve a lot of the issues with the characters that everyone kind of looks at and it's just like, that's off-putting. I do not like this. No part of me likes any of these characters. I think they all look like trash. And you've got some that are going to say, oh, well, I like the artistic style, but they are, I think, in the minority. I think everyone wants good looking characters. And if you're like, oh, but don't worry, they're robots. No one cares. No one cares if they're robots. They have to look cool. They have to look cool. They have to look sexy, whatever it has to be, so that people say, yeah, I want to play that. But if you're going to play this thing that's just this weird freak, you're going to, and an art style in a world that a lot of people are like, I don't like how this looks. You are stacking the cards against you, stacking the deck against you. I do not feel like this particular individual deserves any real level of hate for this comment, because there are so many other people in the industry that feel the same way that this person does. The thing that really makes me kind of upset about this is an individual this far along in their career should know that this is a business and that this is something that you need to keep your feelings out of for certain things and be able to take this criticism and feedback and use it to make a better product. And my feeling for a lot of these individuals is they are never taught that. They have these managers at these companies like in Firewalk that do this toxic positivity thing where we don't give them actual feedback because at the end of the day, well, they're my friend, I play games with them in the evenings, instead of saying, I need this person to grow as an individual and grow as a professional so that they can eventually potentially lead their own teams and manage people. This industry is so unprofessional when it comes to actual growth of individuals. You have so many people that have no interest in that. They have no interest in teaching people the business side of things, which is the thing that is going to keep them employed. So you have these people that are making these statements where they're very feelings based, and they're like, "Well, you don't understand how hard I tried," or "You guys are just talentless hacks," or whatever it may be. It is so counterproductive. And all it takes is some good managers over time to say, "Hey, you need to understand, like, this is the business side of things. This is the things that we need to do. Do not take, critical feedback in a way where you're just dismissing it because it's not what you want to hear." If Concord had taken the feedback that they had received early on and pivoted, that game would have had a chance to succeed. But they threw any kind of negative feedback aside and said, "Well, they don't understand. They're not qualified." Whatever thing they wanted to say, and it failed. And Marathon is currently in a place where a lot of people are progressively saying, I don't know if I want to play this. I wasn't quite sold before, and the more I hear about it, I just don't. I don't want to do it. Then we're hearing them, as in addition to that, saying, "Oh yeah, we're just not going to have the big features ready for launch." This is the same deal where it is a recipe for failure. And if people are giving feedback now that are saying, "Look, this looks bad," and if their response is just, "Oh, don't worry, we'll just add fidelity." No, the characters look bad. The world doesn't look impressive. Extraction shooter, with no other modes. This is not, uh, it is not a recipe for success. And we see a lot of people like this individual here running their mouth, saying things that are the equivalent of, I know that you're afraid of using that airplane, but I know some things about bad airplanes because, I worked on the Boeing 737 MAX, and you should just give that airplane a try. All that stuff does is make people distrust the game more. It makes people look at it and say, "Ew, Concord is defending this game. Ew," like you've got them coming out and saying, "Well, no, no, just give it a shot." It's like, we've heard that before. How many games have we heard that for? My hope is with all this feedback, the folks at Marathon are able to take it and then go to Sony and ask for more time and make adjustments so that they are more in line with what the consumers want. Because at the end of the day, people vote with their wallets, and you want to get more people that are willing to vote on your game because you are trying to get them to give you their most precious commodity, which is their time. This isn't just like you play it and in 12 hours it's done. You want, with these live service games, to engage them for potentially years. So if from the get-go they're saying, "I don't like all this stuff," you need to go back to the drawing board on a lot of things. That's really all. I feel bad that this individual developer has had such bad managers where they feel like this was a good statement to make to the public. I feel bad that our industry in general has so many bad managers and leaders where they let these kind of statements and they're like, "Oh yeah, well look at that. Oh, that's such a brave thing to do." Because anyone that is looking at this from the business perspective knows that that is a stupid move. It is not a smart move to attack consumers. It is not a smart move to downplay their complaints. It is our job as a professional to hear this feedback and try and act on it in a way where we can make something better at the end of the day. And that's really all I've got to say about this for now. We'll hear more about Marathon as time goes by, and hopefully more people are going to say stupid things, and it's really unfortunate. And all we can do in these cases that I can recommend to people is point it out and say that's not helpful, because none of this is helpful. You're not doing a game like this any favors by trying to defend it when people are saying, "Look, I don't like a lot of these core aspects of the game." But yeah, that's it for today. And I hope to see you all again. I hope to see you all again in a future video. Farewell.